What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, That Guy Mile High, tuning back in for another one of them reactions. And this time we got top 10 real scary books used to summon the devil. All right? These don't be out here doing things you shouldn't be doing. I'm just saying. Anyways, man, before we hop into that video, we got to give a big shout out to all of our members of the channel real quick. We got Gary Willis, My Hood Life, Nugget, Liz, Amy Jane Doe, Lynn, Mad, Creeker, Driver Thoughts, Lynn, Willow, Misty Summers, Mama Dukes, Taylor, Aaron, Casey Girl, Token Tug, Nicole, Ryan Parks, and Carrie. Whew. We getting up there, man. We almost at 20 full-time members, man. I appreciate you guys rocking with your boy. If you guys want to get a personal shout out, you want to be a part of the Mile High Mafia, you want to be a made man or woman, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to just be the regular subscriber. Go ahead and hit that join button. We got 3 different options for you to choose from $2.99. Yes, as cheap as $2.99, $4.99, and $9.99. Just go check it out. See which one of those levels fits your fancy, suit your needs. You dig what I'm saying? And again, if you just don't want to do that part, and you're just like, no, bro, I just want to be affiliated. I just want to be a part of the situation. Then hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and do what you got to do, because that's free 99, baby. There ain't no excuses for that one, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's go, man.
Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Taylor McWaters. Here are the top 10 real scary books used to summon the devil. Number 10,
why you'd want to even
Codex Gigas. Right off the hop,
what?
this book is said to give the reader the ability to harness evil and negative energy, and it's often referred to as the Devil's Bible. Already into it. Here we go, folks. The book was first discovered in 1648 during the 30 Years' War. The Swedish army looted Prague, and amongst the haul was the Codex Gigas. Yeah, hard to miss this one. 36 inches tall, 20 inches wide, and 8.7 inches thick, coming in at 156 pounds.
What?
Yeah, it's a little thicker than...
Nigga, that ain't a book. That is a goddamn... That's a building, like, brick, like stone. Like, what? At what point does, like, a book not be a book anymore because of weight? Like, I feel like weight needs to factor into what classifies something as a book. Like, nigga, that's a computer.
I'm gonna miss it. It's said that this book was actually written by a monk, but said monk had broken his spiritual vows. He was of course punished, but in a pretty extreme way, which is said to be sealed behind a wall and then left there for eternity to die. Just behind a wall forever. Right before his passing, though, he realized he wouldn't be able to finish said book, which is then when he summoned Lucifer and asked him to complete the book for him, because he was busy, behind a wall and stuff. Yeah, like unemployed professors back then. The devil's like, I'll do that essay for you, no sweat. Take 5, brother. Sell your soul, I got you. I'll script it. This book is filled with dark rituals, instructions on how to perform exorcisms, as well as a bunch of creepy drawings of the devil and other demons. Just for fun. Right now, it's said that the book has 310 pages, but that once used to be 320. Those 10 pages that were ripped out were said to contain instructions on how someone could summon the devil. So hopefully whoever has those pages burn them, or
right,
maybe
got rid of
them.
With them. Cut them shits and shredded them.
The Book of the Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage. A little wordy in my opinion, but it's also a pretty good book. This book was of course created by Abramelin, who is in the title, who is indeed a mage, and he created this book as a gift for his son. Yeah, Lego wasn't a thing yet, and neither was fun, so he got him a magical book. Thanks, Dad. In the early 1900s, this book was translated into English, and that's when the rumors of the book being cursed began to spread, of course. I mean, this book contains spells, but also contains curses, so I feel like that rumor, it checks out. People are talking for a reason. Abramelin believed that everybody had their own personal demon. The good thing about this book, however, is that it holds instructions on how to get your demons under control through rituals and spiritual situations. The kicker is that it's always risky to reach out to the spiritual world, so it's really not worth it, right? That's why everybody thinks this book is so cursed. Unless you absolutely know what you're doing, the contents of this book might just be too powerful for you, my friend.
These are like the Ouija board equivalents of books, bro. That's how I look at these. Like, you decide to read any of these or perform any of the ritual, situations that the book is referring to, or anything that, any of the instructions, you're crazy. You're asking for some F shit. You're asking for some shit to happen. You're asking to have problems with the afterlife, bro. You might as well go.
Those who have had bad experiences with the book explain either bad luck or hauntings from the spiritual world are awaiting for those who read it.
Selection at its finest.
Yeah, stick with Arthur or Berenstain Bears, really, keep it cool. Number 8, the Book of Black Magic and Pacts. At first, I thought this said Black Magic and Pets, and I got really excited for a hot moment. This book, written by A.E. Waite, is a guide on all things occult. It looks at lore, magic, occultist history, and of course ceremonies. There's certainly no issue with all this in itself in a book, but when this book is in the wrong hands, things can get a little dicey, especially considering this book has been referred to as one of the greatest overviews of occultism, and it includes a large number of magical spells from a variety of sources. Yeah, they all have spells in them. They're all like Harry Potter. They're all like the Chamber of Secrets, that book that he stabs with the tooth. They're all like that. They're all bad. The author of this book, A.E. Waite, is said to have been a British scholarly mystic as well as a poet, and it's said that he was quite a prolific writer on both the occult and esoteric matters. Nice, but he was in a cult or two, but he was great.
He was in a cult or two.
Number 7,
I mean,
the Munich Manual.
To be that, that adversed and have that much insight. Yeah, I mean, you the only way to write that great is to be a part of it, I'm just
also referred to as the Necromancers Manual. That's always fun. This grimoire comes to us from the 15th century and is a text that is largely focused on demonology and necromancy. 2 things you want in a book. A lot of grimoires have both good and black magic, but this is one that focuses solely on the dark, bad side. Know what I mean? Just in case you're a very specific demon, this book is for you. You won't believe number 4. Dive in. Here you go. There are 3 different sections to this one. First section deals with the illusionist magic and spells that trick people into seeing things that aren't there. The next one is psychological magic, which is meant to use emotions, politics, and things like that in order to gain power over an individual. And if these 2 weren't scary enough, the 3rd section is the divinatory spells, which is meant to allow the reader to see into the past, present, or future. Imagine seeing into the present. What a waste that would be. You're just looking into Cauldron like, hey, that's me looking into the Cauldron right now. It's like the game Portal. You're like, oh my God, it's crazy. It's so trippy. All sections are bad news in this book, but one of the most popular parts of said book is the part that includes instructions on how to make the Mirror of Lilith. We have our own Mirror of Lilith right here. I look into it every day. No spoilers, I'm only on season 27 of Life. Please don't tell me how I'm gonna pass. Thanks. Number 6, The Orphan Story. This book was originally written in the early 1600s, but it didn't end up getting published until 2018, because, things take a while sometimes. We were a bit busy. The Orphan Story is about a 14-year-old Spanish boy who heads to the Americas, a classic coming-of-age tale, a feel-good story, dare I say, until it isn't anymore. This is exactly the reason why it took so long for said book to be published. While the curse in this book doesn't come from the story itself, there's something that happens, there's something dark lurking in those pages, and people end up taking their own lives. It's horrible. The book's publisher, Belinda Palacios, who worked on the book for 2 years, explained that throughout those years, she was often warned of the cursed book and how every publisher who had tried to work on it before ended up passing away in a mysterious, tragic kind of way before they could finish the book. You know what I mean? Some Final Destination stuff would kind of happen here. Her research showed that those who tried to edit the book before either found themselves in horrible accidents or with strange illnesses, right? One of the 2. Luckily, Belinda made it through the process unscathed for now, so let's just hope that maybe the curse has been lifted. Either way, I can't read, so I'm not going to get there anytime soon. Number 5, The Grand Grimoire. This book is often referred to as the book with incredible powers, and it's been called one of the darkest books in the world, right next to Holes. Those 2 are tied right now. While the author of this book is still unknown, classic, the contents of it are things like black magic, dark, spooky secrets, occult information, anything I just talked about, more of that. It's believed that the book was written sometime around 1521, and it's split into 2 books. Yeah, classic. He's like, but wait, there's more. Tune in next week. $15. Give me it right now. Book 1 details instructions on how to summon a demon and how to get the demon to do your bidding, do your house chores, whatever you want. Maybe even answer some phone calls. Sure. The second book is split into 2 parts, and it details how to make a pact with the demon and how to command the spirit, but with less tools, which means that it's significantly more riskier than the first book. They're like, hey, you can do this, but it's going to cost you. Come to this book. People fear the Grand Grimoire because they worry that if anyone reads it fully, then the devil will then enslave their soul. Okay, you said it. We're turning that one. Next, number 4, the Book of Soy. Anything that is referred to as the Book of Death. Oh, count me in. I'll renew my library card right now. Let's do it. Let's amp it up. The Book of Soy, this one's tough because nobody knows what language it's written in, right? So that's obviously a challenge. The beginning part of the book definitely contains some spells or incantations, and the ending of the book is really where the most mystery lies. And trying to decipher it is not that easy. It's said that a scholar called John Dee once attempted to decode the secret book, and it was so difficult that he needed to call on an angel, the angel Uriel, for help. Everyone's calling demons and angels for help. I'm like, can I do that? If I call in sick one day, can I call a demon? I don't know if we could do that. Even the angel didn't have the answers on this part, and he instructed John to call on the archangel, Michael, who would be the only one who was really able to interpret said text. After John Dee passed away in 1608, the book basically just vanished. No one knows where it went, but then, like magic, it just reappeared again in the 19th century. Despite this extremely interesting story and how it kind of draws you in, whoever is said to read the book will die 2.5 years later.
Well, how can you can't, well, I guess we don't have nothing to worry about if nobody can translate the goddamn book. What, so looking at the pages, does that do the same thing? If you just flip through all the pages and not really read anything, does that work? I mean, like, I just don't understand. Like,
do we want to have 2 years left of our lives
for a
book?
Even read the
if it's
book,
Avatar
so
2 and they're like, hey, you have 2 years to live after you see Avatar 2, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But this book, I'm like, nah, none of that, I'm good. Number 3, the Pika. This is a grimoire that is said to contain a large amount of magic that is presumed to be from the 11th century. The pages contain some philosophy, some astrology, some medieval science, stuff like that. And then there's things like recipes that involve mixing human and or animal blood. So it's one of those. Not so fun.
Yeah, it's
not so fun. Not a lot of pictures to color in, you know?
Shit.
The results are said to be magical, of course, but in reality, it's just a book on mixing horrible things together.
Yeah,
like illicit substances and urine. Mix them together. Put them in a cauldron. I'm like, no. How about that? Number 2, Sorrows of Young Werther. This is a book that came out in 1774 and it's said to have a large and negative impact on its readers right since its release. The book will summon your own inner demon, apparently. Right after this book came out, a huge wave of its readers ended up taking their own lives because of this strange and dark influence that this book had.
Like, have we not learned our why do we keep letting these books get published? Why do we keep letting people write books like this? Why do we not just throw motherfuckers into padded rooms with straitjackets when they try to do shit like this, bruh? What? We don't need this shit.
Reddit. Young men would start trying to emulate the main character of the book by dressing like him, acting like him, that sort of thing. Not really shocking here. But the book ultimately led to horrifying actions, so in real life, these guys would also take their own lives. It was horrible. This actually led to the book being banned in some countries because, well, it's not worth the risk. See, things like this make me curious, of course, but I don't think I'd ever want to read something that depressing anyways. You know what I mean? Number 1, the Lesser Key of Solomon. This one is said to contain spells that are used for summoning over 72 different demons. And just to spice it up a little bit, to this day, no one is exactly sure who wrote it. Yeah, still anonymous back there, penning it up. Could have been one of the 72 demons, who knows? The Lesser Key of Solomon is made up of a few different texts from somewhere around the 17th century. This book is said to be cursed, so even having a copy of it will cause the owner to experience constant bad luck or have the worst luck of all by,
He wanted me to edit the background out of that specific one because of the kennel. If you go on my... I'm on my computer. I have some, and here, if you take...
upload it to your book?
No, maybe. It should, if it's updated. Yeah, they did, actually. But if you go into this text thread right here, those are actual edited ones. The only ones don't use, because I didn't finish editing them, I just did it to send some examples, was the ones where knees, legs are in it. But any of the ones that are like just the dogs, those are all good to go. And if you need to know any of the names of any of them that you don't know, just text that text thread and just be like, hey, who's whatever picture, and send the picture, and then like, what's the name of this dog again? Okay.
One person shared that the book violently just flew itself across the room at them, just like Interstellar. We just got a haunted bookshelf now to take care of. All because you bought a weird book at a garage sale. Know what I mean? While we aren't sure who wrote it, there are rumors or stories that suggest that it might have been King Solomon. It is said that perhaps he wrote it for his son and then asked him to bury it with him in his grave. When being prepared for burial, a group of Babylonian philosophers found said book, and this is when they were visited by an angel who told them to hide the book from the unworthy. Yeah, only the worthy can read this one. They then placed a spell on the book, which is meant to keep it away from getting into the wrong hands, and it's said to be how the book got its curse in the first place. So, if a friend lets you borrow Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, just ask them. Ask if it's cursed before, you know? Those are the top 10 real scary books used to summon the devil. I'm not the devil. I'm your host.
I just don't understand why people would want to read these books. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you going out of your way to even try to read these books or publish these books or whatever? You know, none of it made sense, goddammit. It is what it is. Y'all let me know what you thought about that down in the comments below. All them books was stupid. All them books that had no real good intentions on this planet, and as far as I'm concerned. And yeah. Hopefully we Just burn them bitches up. You know what I'm saying? We don't need them. We don't need them. You know what I'm saying? That's part of history we don't want to repeat. Go ahead and get rid of that shit. We don't want to repeat that shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Anyways, y'all let me know what you thought about that in the comments below.